Okay, so what is the best way to cope with our stress, and how do you feel about non-productive ways of dealing with stress? Playing with video games, reading magazines, watching TV?
Yeah. Any strategy that we use that's healthy, of course, is going to be a good way to cope with stress, and there are lots of things. I probably hear most from students that use exercise, and this is a pretty active state and an active campus, so exercise is good. I encourage students to think about hobbies or things that they enjoy and allowing themselves to take time to do that, because that can feel really good. And then relaxation strategies, breathing, yoga, things like that can be helpful. The non-productive ways, like video games, that can be a hobby, and so it almost sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but it can often lead to procrastination and time wasting. Some students will just say they kind of get caught up in doing something like that and then don't realize how much time it took. So.
Right.
Well, I think that's just it. The key is, if I'm going to go play a video game for an hour or something like that, that's different than all of a sudden 5 hours later I'm still involved, getting to the next level, blah, 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 bringing other people in my room. All of a sudden it turns into a non-stress reduction, but actually more stress.
Right.
Same with a nap. I mean, hey, a 20-minute power nap. I love to put my head down on my desk. But realize that if I'm there 3 hours later and the drool's on my paperwork, I'm in trouble. So it's, again, managing that and figuring out at what point is it going to be productive and at what point am I going to wake up because I just slept through class or I missed getting to work on time or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys both think about using alcohol to deal with stress?
Number one choice. Good idea.
Typically not good, not a good choice. Of course, for health reasons, but probably the judgment is probably one of the biggest problems with it, because it does impair our judgment, and then we make poor choices based on using the alcohol.
Right.
So.
It's kind of funny though, because when we talk to people about why do they drink, it often comes up that I want to reduce my stress. So at the end of the week or the end of the day or something, having a beer, whatever, feels like it calms you down. But then when we ask people, well, what do you do to reduce stress? Rarely do they say, oh, I go out and party or I go drink. So it's kind of a dichotomy there. I think, again, it comes down to that balance.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of it, I think, with reducing stress and alcohol is maybe the social aspect that's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm actually having a beer, hanging out with friends, relaxing a little bit rather than, open up a bottle of tequila and down in some shots. So it's a balance again right there. The thing, too, about alcohol, we know is a depressant. So the more alcohol we consume, the more stress we're probably going to get because we're getting more depressed and anxious.
Definitely. Is all stress bad? Because I know that when I get a little bit stressed, I feel a little bit more motivated sometimes. So
That's a really good question, because technically, physiologically, it's not bad, and it is designed to kind of help us take action. That's what it's for. So it can help us feel like we've got the energy to do what we need to do, and helps us push through things. So I hear a lot of students say that. But the problem then becomes if that's the only way that we feel we can function. If we always wait till the last minute because we think, oh, as soon as I wait, I can get more things done, that can be really hard on us, hard on our body, hard on our ability to feel like we schedule things and on top of things, because if we wait till the last minute to do something and then something else comes up that we need to do, then that's going to add a whole bunch of other stress. So we keep talking about balance, but it's trying to find out how much stress can be motivating and be okay. And that's going to be different for everybody.
do you guys think that men and women deal with stress differently?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because we also communicate differently.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jen can speak to this a lot better than me, but I find that women especially tend to reach out more and socialize more, and we'll talk more about what's going on with them and maybe how stressed they are, what things are happening in their life that are leading up to that anxiety. And I think sometimes men may internalize things a little bit more and may try to overproduce or overcompensate in certain areas. That's not the case, obviously, for everybody, but I think based on the differences in communication strategies also leads to how we handle stress differently.
Yeah, and that's a good point. There is research that looks at gender differences in coping, and there are two categories: a problem-focused, meaning I'm going to look for solutions, I want to solve it, versus the emotion-focused. And there are differences. Women fall on the more emotion-focused side, and men in the problem-focused. But we can't just put everyone in those categories because everyone's a little bit different. But I also see that students describe how stress impacts them a little differently based on their gender. Women may talk more about how it makes them feel, how it may affect their relationships, where men may talk more about how it affects their behavior in terms of they act angry toward people or irritated toward people.
So tell me, how do you guys feel about crying to reduce stress? Some people say that's a release, but can that be traumatic?
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it can be a real cathartic release. Sometimes people just, that you have to let it all out. And it can be, once that episode or that sense is, you finish crying or whatever, it can feel really good to have let it all out.
Yeah.
So I think it can, for some people, be a really positive way to help cope with what's going on.
Yeah. And sometimes keeping all of that emotion in, which crying can be a release of that, isn't good if we just keep it inside and don't let it out. So.
Definitely. Well, that is all the time that we have, but what other resources, real quick, does CSU Health Network offer for people dealing with stress?
We're excited because we have a range of resources for students depending on what they need. Not every student may need to see someone individually, such as myself or a therapist, if they're having trouble with stress. So we've got quite a few different things. One is our website. It's on the CSU Health Network page. There's a menu to the side. We're found under counseling services. You find stress management. We've got some audio podcasts. We've got information about our workshop schedule, yoga tips, quick stress reliever tips. So the web page is very cool.
Yes. Lots of things are download them, put them on your MP3 player, all that kind of stuff. No one knows if you're listening to music across the plaza or you're listening to like a guided imagery to relax, which is really nice. The other thing too is we have something we call the Relaxation Station located in the CSU Health Network satellite office in the Laurie Student Center. And people can also come in there for head and neck massages. They can gel out in our little massage chair. They can meet with Jen about certain things. So they can just drop in periodically and get the help that they need.
Sounds really nice. I might have to hit that
I
up.
know, really nice. That's what we should have been sitting in today, the little chair.
Well, that does do it here for us at the Health Chat. Thank you so much, Pam and Jen, for giving us your insights on this.
Thanks.
Remember, you can always check out the new CSU Health Network website at health.colostate.edu. We'll see you next time.